Hello, my loves. Happy Monday, October 28th. Okay, today we're going to chit chat about changing your foundation. So, shifting from operating out of a foundation of fear to love. I have a lot of drive, although at least for the past 5 years, it stemmed from fear of death due to my cousin passing at 28. You can listen to other podcasts about it or I've written some blogs about it. But that I used my pain as fuel and it worked. Although the past year I've found it just hasn't been working, and I don't want to operate out of fear because it's a low vibration. I want to operate out of true love. So the past year I've been focusing on how can I still maintain this level of drive and ambition and presence, but from a foundation of love instead of fear, because your frequency just attracts your life. So if you're on higher frequency, you're going to have a better life. So I've been trying to shift that. The past month or two, I'd say I've been releasing it, which it's been fantastic. That fear of death, especially turning 28. I knew this was going to be an interesting year because what I've been telling myself for the past 5 years, if I only had 5 years to live, if I only had 4, 3, 2, 1, oh my God, this is the year. Like, I've made it. Yeah, and I know it's bizarre, but if you've experienced loss, perhaps you've experienced a similar thought pattern or perspective towards this. So, that being said, if something works for you, great. Although recognize where it's stemming from. What frequency are you vibrating on? Is it a low frequency emotion or is it high? Can you strive for bliss, enlightenment? That's the highest frequency. And purple. Purple is the highest frequency color. I just changed my book cover to purple for that reason. But before I used to, gratitude and courage were my core values. So courage to go after what I want, courage to speak my truth, just courage to be authentically, unapologetically me, which I think I've done. I feel pretty good about being me. I always have, but to share that and to be seen. So I've now released those and shift that to enlightenment and love, so that I still have drive to serve this world, but instead of because, oh my God, I need to do it now in case I die or somebody dies, and then I know it's going to be back to square one of like my emotions and just grief. How can I do that out of just pure loving the world, loving this present life, loving every moment of my existence? Now I've taken some time to just totally rest, and that was challenging. It's very challenging to do nothing really, and like to give yourself a break, especially, well, if you're like me. My friend says you gotta rot, and it was like, oh, I don't want to rot, but I haven't been rotting the past month, but I've definitely been shedding and just totally releasing. I did a fast. I'll talk about that later. When you work out of fear, the physical impacts on your body and your nervous system are stressful. You're constantly in stress. And yes, I used to tell myself, stress is good. Like, it's my body performing to, get to prepare myself for this performance type, whatever you're about to do. Like, that fight or flight is kind of the same thing. But when you operate from a place of love, it includes increased creativity and connection and well-being. So you just feel like you're riding this high wave, which the past year I have been. Man, it has been flying so high, it's ridiculous. I had been high for like 2 months just naturally on life, and I was like, is this, like, am I okay? Do I have a brain tumor? Because I don't feel like my feet have touched the ground. And I started counting it. It was like 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. First, I just thought maybe it was a dose of nature. But then when I got back to London, it was like, all right, it's been 7 weeks now, and I'm still feeling like, woo, life is pretty good. So I wasn't sure if that was sort of my new state of being, where I just felt like I was floating through life until I went to Norway, and I knew Norway was going to be just this like honestly transformational trip. And it was. I had a meditation outside at our Airbnb just the day after my birthday. And oh my God, it was incredible. I was sitting on the edge of the rock, like staring out into the fjords, closing my eyes, kind of doing some Kundalini yoga, moving my spine, allowing the spinal fluid to move through. And I felt my chest just like shoot up, my shoulders back. I wish I could like show you right now, but you know, when it's like Superwoman, Superman type thing where they fly up into the sky, and like I felt this light just escape from my body and shoot up to the sky. And I was like, oh my God, that's Alexandre. Like that is literally me letting go. I've just let her go. And we had this beautiful conversation. It was me talking to her. She wasn't responding, but I was just, sort of saying like, okay, I love you. I'm letting you go. Thank you for everything you've taught me. I'm like sorry for holding on, but also sorry for letting go. But also I hope this is good for the both of us. And maybe a part of you is meant to be in the fjords in Norway. I don't know, you guys, it was insane. And then after, it felt like my spirit, my being just flew up into the sky. And like, those scenes where there's a cape and they're just sort of like arms are out, they're just flying. Like that was me. It was insane. And that was it. That was the ticket. It was just like, whew, we've released this operating from a base of fear. And now there's love for everything. Now I'm still new into it, right? Like that was only 7 weeks ago into this basis of love. But I've been resting this past month without that like stress of not working. I do notice, like I still work, but not 8 hours a day. But I did notice like after a couple days of no work, I started to feel like, okay, I just slightly anxious about it. But that's because I'm self-employed and it's like my life is really up to me. And if I'm not working, I'm, like it just feels like things are paused. So I'm moving into a different space in that and like playing with it in my mind. But when you're operating out of love, everything is different. Everything is energy, truly. Like matter is just condensed, vibrating energy. So when you're on a higher frequency, it's like you're living in a completely different realm, like truly. And that's how I see it. That's when I got back from Norway, I was like, you guys, to my best friends, like, I feel like I still feel this high, but I feel like my feet are on the ground now. Like I feel grounded. And they're like, woohoo, congrats. Like so happy for you. And I said, I think that was like a transition phase. Before I was raising my frequency and now I've sort of landed on this higher frequency plane and it's so blissful. It's truly incredible. Like it's wild. I don't even know how to explain it, you guys. It's like, like you're just high on drugs all the time, but like you haven't done any drugs, maybe some caffeine, but even still, like I haven't been having caffeine. I had a little bit of tea today and that was nice, but you'll find things just start working out better and you'll start to attract like more of a supportive environment, whether depending on where you're based, where you live, the energy around you, your friends, your family, things will just flow smoothly and easily. Like I truly feel like I walk on lily pads and just the next lily pad presents itself. And they're all incredible opportunities. And yes, I'm blessed 100%, but I do think my mindset and my active routines and habits to raise my frequency and meditate in sauna and do all of those good things for myself plays like 100% of a role in everything. All of that being said, there's a large role of self-compassion and acceptance. So first of all, recognizing like where are you operating from? I think that realization of me being like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm really motivated and I'm always driven and I get a lot done and I do so much and I maintain my friendships and relationships and family and I like show up for people and I take care of my health, like really all the pillars, kind of besides finance, but that's because I spend everything. Because before it was like, well, what am I saving for? I might die, which isn't the best way to live, but you know, whatever, you got to do what you got to do. And that was sort of how I just thought. It was like, save for what? Like, yeah, okay, save some, like put some away, put it into investing and whatever your investment strategies are and do that. Like I have done that, but the foundation of it was like, I'm going to take every opportunity to live just in case, or just in case somebody else dies, like, or somebody gets sick. Like you don't realize how much of a role that affects you. Like it's debilitating. You're like, it's like you have a concussion and you just can't think straight and you're like, I have no idea what to, you're just like spinning. Life is kind of paused for a bit, but it's not paused and it's still happening, but you're just in this like weird zone. So those are the things that I consider often. And I still feel thoughts come up, like my parents were leaving and it was like, oh, better give them a hug in case, like just in case, you know, and it's like, I shouldn't have those thoughts like on a regular basis. That's not very healthy. But I've noticed it's definitely diminished, say, from years before, but at least there's more love around everything as opposed to fear. Fear of holding on, like relationships. It's like, what if I die? Or what if they die? Like, I got to tell them how I feel right now. You know, things like that. It's like, relax. It's all good. Everything is all good. You're exactly how you're meant to be. You're exactly where you're meant to be. The point of this, take an audit on where you're at. What is the emotion that you operate out of? Where does all your drive come from? Like, where does it come from? What is the foundation? Is it fear? Is it love? Is it, insecurity? Is it, I feel like it all comes down to fear and love, but like fear or love. There's, the other emotions in between on that range of the spectrum there. But just take a tiny habit, daily practice, even just the awareness of like, okay, I release you, thank you, and you've served your purpose. Like I used to go in the ocean, I still do cold plunges, but the ocean was so powerful because when a wave would come in, I'd inhale, and when it would go out, I'd exhale and release what no longer served me. So it was like, okay, don't be hard on yourself for operating out of a fear of death, because that served me for a long time. Now it's been released because it doesn't serve me anymore. Now I feel like truly this butterfly just like flapping my wings, flying everywhere, and it's incredible. Journal about it. You can get my Master Your Mindset workbook if you want. There's lots of journal prompts in there. Not quite about this topic because, my awareness wasn't as strong before on it. Yes. So use your pain as fuel, but before you use pain, just transform it within you to be love, and then use the love as fuel. Let me know if you have any questions on this. Okay, I love you.